Hey, good Friday morning. How's everyone doing? I'm Richard, your host for today's TNG Christians Bible Update. So, as you know, I've been doing a lot of research in ancient Earth history and trying to chronologize, whatever. Put in the proper chronological order. There we go. The events from the time of, the creation of the earth till about now, right? And lately, people have been, under the belief that things happened millions of years ago, and which indeed, there are some things that are millions of years in the past, but again, there are things that are a lot more recent in terms of the Earth's geological age. In particular, the continental drifting from Pangea to where the continents are today. I don't think that was millions of years ago. I think that was much more recent, and we have a lot of evidence to show that. One of the big things that people have also been trying to wrap around their heads is, okay, well, when you start reading the Bible in Genesis, the creation story, and a lot of creationists, and I'm actually going after you guys, creationists, because a lot of you seem to be a little bit confused about the order of things. You're trying to fit everything in 6 days, right? You're trying to put the creation of light, matter, energy, time, space, all that into 6 days, 6 literal days, and it's impossible. Okay, it's just not right. It doesn't work like that. If you read it carefully, and there are lots of articles about it, that there is what's called the Genesis gap between, or gap theory between Genesis 1:1 and 1:2, where, it seems that there seems to be a disorder as soon after the heaven and earth are created. And there's a Bible verse that clearly states that, the Lord made the earth to be inhabited and did not make it in vain, meaning that did not make the earth to be in ruin. So if you're trying to take it literally, that it just flowed, okay, make heaven, then make earth, and then all of a sudden the earth is in a terrible state and it has to be remade, then no, that's not how it works. Okay, I'm going to try and sort that out for you, and it's very, very simple. There is one verse in the Bible, okay, and why do I have this up on the screen with Noah's Ark? Because, for years, this is the only photo that we saw regarding Noah's Ark, which was pretty much, here, I'll get it for you right here in Google Earth at the same time, so you guys know that I'm not playing. It might pop up on my other screen, but, oh, no, it popped up right here. Okay, so watch. We'll do this right here, live, so that you could do this too, at home. Watch. Noah's Ark. Oh, yeah, Noah's Ark. Nope, that's not the one I want. That's the one in Kentucky, in the States. Okay, I'll do it another way. Mount Ararat. Sorry. Okay, so Mount Ararat in Turkey. Okay. And on the other side of Mount Ararat, towards the north, is Armenia. And if we go zoom in, there's a spot right here. See, I found it right away. Okay, that's Noah's Ark. And let me try to rotate a little bit like this. Okay, I'm going to rotate it like this. So you can clearly see that from the deformations around the edge of the mountain, you can clearly see that something teardrop shaped, something clearly slid from over here down this way and stopped right there. Okay, so that's a definite geological formation, right? And it's not an outcropping of a rock that stuck out. Okay, we could even see where it fell, where it came up from. Ooh, boy, it is actually quite big. I've never noticed it like that. So it was sitting somewhere on top here, and you could actually see you could actually see where it slid. I guess an earthquake, landslide, whatever it is, and fell down this way, right? So that's that part. But here, okay, same view. Here, let me make the same view here. Like that. And then like that. See? I know I'm being terrible, but hey, it's all in the name of science, right? Okay, so this pretty much was the view that we saw of Noah's Ark. Oh, actually, this is inverted. This is upside down, the picture here. So, and it clearly looks like a ship. Okay, that's the consensus. Don't really need the Google Earth right now, so I'll just put it aside. And I'll stretch this back like that. Okay, hey, Jeremy. Okay, so like that. Okay, so this is subsurface imaging, okay? And we didn't have this technology thousands of years ago, hundreds of years ago, a few decades ago. This came out recently. And they were able, ground penetrating radar, and you clearly see the shape of a hull. Okay, and stands to reason. The reason why that it's so well preserved is that there was a command by God that told Noah, make sure that you layer this thing in a lot of tar. Okay, this is very key. A lot of tar. And the verse right here is actually called pitch. So if I type it in, pitch, right here. Make thee an ark of gopher wood. All right, whatever type of wood that is. Tells you you're going to put rooms in it that you're going to put in the ark, and you will pitch it, and that's the verb, to pitch, within and without with pitch. Okay, and okay, what does that mean? I don't understand. So that's why I like to use the Blue Letter Bible website, an app for your iPhone or Android, because you have tools. Interlinear. Okay, so we have the Hebrew, and we have a concordance so that we can have the word here. We can see that the pitch here, Strong's word 3722, is not the same as Strong's 3724. Okay, there's a difference. So if we take a look at this one says pretty much asphalt as a covering. Okay, and you can get tar from plants too. But if you understand the dimensions of the ark, you'll understand that you'll need a lot of tar to make sure that it's covered inside and out, as a good book says, with petroleum pitch. Okay, and that right away makes you understand that there's a problem, because how can you have petroleum, right? How can you have petroleum in the ground or lying about, which is the result of decomposed carbonates, so plants, animals, things like that, that were formed under a process that required heat, pressure, and time. So how did you get all that in, 1,600 years since Adam and Eve? Okay, yeah, it's possible that, there were certain types of tar pits available, but I don't think that's getting to the point. The point is that the flood that Noah was preparing for separated the continents, right? There were no high mountains, okay, like the Himalayas, the Rockies, all the west coast, like here. Now I can get my Google Earth back, right, like this. Let me explain. Okay. So before the flood, all this was joined up, okay? And the Mid-Atlantic Ridge, that was the fountains of the deep that broke open. And broke open in spectacular style all across the planet, basically like a baseball stitch that goes all the way around, right? Separated the continents, drifted everything. There was a pole shift, tilted things over. The India slid from where it was attached here, next to Africa, the eastern side of Africa, and Ramo. There you go. That's why you have mountains up there. And back over here, close to my home, California, pretty much collided with the rest of the North American continent. Subduction going on over here. That's why you have plateaus and mountain ridges and the Rockies and all that, because you have, this was the flat land of the west coast of the States, and then you had the Pacific Plate, and then one going under. So as this one was going under and buckling down, this started to push up whatever material that was there, and that's why you have the mountains, the plateaus. But the force of that, to do that, is not at the speed at which your fingernails or hair grow, right? It has to be much faster than that. They were colliding at least a few kilometers an hour, if anything. And that's why we have what we have here. The fossil records that we see here with all the sedimentary layers all describe the last moments of whatever animals that were there as the waters were coming in and laying sedimentary deposits one after the other over the days of the flood, over the year that the flood took place. And that's why you have dinosaur graveyards all over there, and coal deposits, oil deposits. See, all this was one big basin with pretty much everything draining right down here through the U.S. Midwest, down through the Gulf Coast, and that's why it's rich in petroleum, which is what we're getting back to. So you need to have a process that would create, the rapid burial of a lot of plant and animal life to be able to create petroleum products such as pitch. So how did that happen if God created the world in 6 days? So you didn't have enough time for all that. So yes, there was a pre-existing world before humans on this planet, which goes back, who knows? It could be hundreds of thousands of years, it could be millions of years, it could be billions of years, we don't know. If some of the oldest geological records say 4.5 billion years old, okay, it's possible. But we're not the first generation of beings on this planet. Okay, that's a big thing people have to sink into their head. You are not the first generation of sentient beings on the planet. You're the second. And in fact, you're here to replace the first group of beings that didn't do their job right. Okay? And the result of that, they had to get flooded out and destroyed. And when we were chosen to take over, created to take over, and chose not to do the job, well, that's why we have the calamities that we went through, including this. So there's no denying that the flood happened. There's no denying that massive, severe plate tectonics and cataclysms shook the earth apart to be able to produce the geology that we have today. And the only well-documented set of information that you can find that clearly describes what caused it and why is the Bible. Now, yes, you have all the other historical accounts of a flood, but once again, remember that all those accounts came from one place, from region of Anatolia, which is pretty much where our good friend Noah and his family disembarked from the flood, and had more than enough time to create the civilizations that are being unearthed right now in Göbekli Tepe. That's a tough one to pronounce. Other parts of Turkey before heading northward to make the Russian steppe, whatever, out there, the people from the north, and then then you had the other people who went down towards, followed the Fertile Crescent, made their way down to Sumer and Iraq, and the Indo-Indian, region out there, right? They had lots of time to get there before it came out to the Americas by way of travel, boat, foot, because you had land bridges that were accessible, that allowed people to cross from one place to the other, where now it's covered by water. Okay, so uh, yeah, see, iron. The iron was used to build the ark, and okay, if we're talking about pre-Bronze Age, right? Because Bronze Age was somewhere from which ended around 1000 BC, which is rather recent. It's only 3,000 years ago, right? But before that, it took a couple thousand years before man supposedly had the technology to make iron. You know, like things like this spoon, right? Could not exist simply because did not have the technology to melt the rock to make the type of metal that is required to make stainless steel and all those fun things, right? So that's why we have to rethink our origins. We have to rethink what we were told and taught in school and by our parents about how we got here and why we're here. And it's really important. And I wouldn't want to go around misguided in life about the origin of things, because I take my roots very important. Right? I like to know where I come from. I like to know who my parents are, who my family going back is. Isn't that important for some of you people too? It gives you a sense of continuity, a sense of purpose in life, to know that hey, we have a continuation of something that's not just following the crowd, but actually, paying attention to the world around us, and using the nice, beautiful brain that we have in our heads to reason and think, and not use it to be told what to think, right? So, with that, why do I say that this should be important to pay attention to now? Is because it is clearly said here, and I'll find the text, as in the days of Noah. Jesus said it himself. As it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be also in the days of the Son of Man, which is a euphemism or another way of saying his return to earth. So if we can compare the two, we know that, okay, something of a great nature like a flood should happen before the coming of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Will it be a flood of water? No, because it was a promise not to flood the earth again of that nature once the great flood of Noah was done. In this particular case, we're talking about the advance of human civilization, which led to its reconstitution and repopulation of the earth, in that sense. What do I mean by that? Is if you take a look at where we've reached today in the world compared to 100 years ago, you'll notice that we've had a very sharp incline in terms of the ability to communicate one with another across the world rather instantly. We did not have cell phones 100 years ago, although the idea was conceived. We did not have television. If you were to show this to somebody, step back in time and show them this device 100 years ago, they'd think you're some kind of a wizard or a space person or who knows what. But yeah, you got to take appreciation and not take for granted the fact that in your hands you can go like this and swipe. You can go like this and push a button and take a look at a website and get information to make an informed decision. Because it's not fun to go through life not making informed decisions. That's why we get lost and headaches and sick and all sorts of problems, right? But can be avoided. So get informed. You have the technology, you have the tools, better than any king or queen that lived on this planet from the beginning of time. You, right now, you have that right here. And what's of interest is that the book of Revelation talks about mountain burning. Let me see. Can you find it? Yeah. Ooh, I'm good today. And the second angel sounded, and as it were, a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea, and a third part of the sea became blood. Okay, well, that's clearly indicative of some type of asteroid, meteor impact, cometary impact. In this case, a big mountain. And we're not talking about something the size of a school bus, like what happened over Russia a couple years ago. That was really small. No, we're talking about things that are kilometers wide. Kilometers wide. And if you do the research, you'll see that that's not a good thing if something kilometers wide comes smashing and hurling into the sea in particular. Land is bad, but sea is worse. Tsunamis and all that, which kind of answers a question in a way, or maybe hypothetically, to all these scientists trying to wonder, okay, what caused these big cataclysms of the Younger Dryas? Okay, because that's what it's called. When you hear the term Younger Dryas event, that's really referring to what they termed as what was Noah's Ark or Noah's flood. And I keep talking about Ark, but it's really the process of the flood and how that geology shaped, the Ice Age, the ice sheet, the Laurentide ice sheet, and all that stuff. Yes, that was all as a result of the flood, and that this is going to happen again, because that's what the book of Revelation is about. It's to reveal, it's the revelation of Jesus Christ to the world, of what his purpose was from the beginning to the end, because he is Alpha and Omega, right? Beginning and end, A to Z. Not Amazon, Jesus Christ, Alpha, Omega, see? And when you get that straight in your head, then everything in life falls into place. And you're not going to be wandering around aimlessly trying to figure out how to make plans for retirement that really won't happen, because unfortunately that retirement plan will get cut short in the next couple of years, which I've talked about before, that there's big changes coming in about 2 years to bring on 7 years of oh boy, you don't want to be here. And then after that, 1,000 years of paradise on earth, right? So that's what we're preparing for, is the 1,000 years on earth. Noah's flood event was to prepare for the 1,000 years on earth that will begin in about 9 years from now, approximately, according to the calendar. So what are you working for today? It's Friday. I know, I'm done my work. I did my tutoring all week, my lessons. I've done my work on putting a few little updates to the website. See, I have here a picture of la prochaine génération. Parce que hier, j'ai eu le plaisir d'avoir mon premier appel en français de quelqu'un de la région de Valleyfield, Vaudreuil, Solange, en tout cas. Dans ce coin-là, on a eu une belle conversation enregistrée. Et ça serait le fun d'avoir d'autres mondes qui auront des questions par rapport au travail que je fais à partir de chez nous. Me ferait plaisir de vous répondre en tout temps. Ici, numéro de téléphone 1-800-847-7820, 1-800-847-7820, ou site internet tngchristians.ca. Donc, merci d'être avec moi ce matin. Je vous souhaite une belle journée, une belle fin de semaine. A happy weekend to everybody. Take care. God bless, and we'll see you again next time.